Very true. And once again, I still follow Hearthstone a bit because I really enjoy 1v1 games.
Me too.
Hearthstone is SC2.
Shout out to Raven, one of my
1v1s.
most favorite Brits out there. Of course, next to you, Tetcher.
We both love Raven very much. He is the best. We also see Soa taking us to Cursed Hollow. Now, if I remember correctly, this isn't their best win ratio. No.
I mean, it has stepped up and improved tremendously, though. Like, I remember seeing Soa map scores in Phase 1 and Phase 2 being like 0-5, 0-10, something along those lines. They've definitely improved a lot. So, them sitting at 5 wins in this current season is already a big success. Although on paper, or here at the overlay, it might still look very terrible.
Very true. Those Soa stats are a little bit questionable due to the amount of roster changes they have had and the amount of improvement they have done.
Yep. There we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to dive right into the action here of draft number 2 in the second game. Soa really need to win this one if they want to take important points of this series. And as Tetra said, or as we said at the beginning of the game, both teams are relatively closely matched in the standings. So if the one were to win this one, Soa would drift down even more, whereas the one would basically rise up and, you know, improve their overall chances of making it to BlizzCon.
Which are not out of the question at this point due to the fact that the one are really quite good.
Yeah.
Like them and beyond the game, they have come in swinging. Like all of the experience, like we have the 2 top teams who we expect to be at the top. Then we have the 2 new teams, and then we have all the experienced teams just sitting at the bottom. That's such a weird situation to find ourselves in. But if the one can win this again, then Soa, they stay below everyone. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I personally like Soa. Team Soa is my baby boy. Like, those guys, I have a very special relation to. We basically saw them evolve from Phase 1 all the way to the seasons, to the fall season right now. It's like a Pokemon. They start off as a very, you know, funny and cute-looking Pokemon, not being able to hurt anyone. Like a... damn it, I only know German Pokemon names. What's the Cocoon Pokemon that couldn't even attack?
Kakuna or Metapod. There was 2, or Silcoon or Cascoon. If you go by the Hoenn free,
so there we go.
Plenty of options.
And
there.
They transformed into this beautiful butterfly. Insert
that
Pokemon
would
name
be
here.
Silcoon or Kakuna. No, well, Silcoon or Metapod. Once again, there's 2.
And what's the name of the butterfly?
Or Butterfree. Beautifly or Butterfree.
There we go. We're gonna call it Butterfree because it sounds cool.
That's the older one. So yeah, that's the one you probably have.
And now they just need to make sure that they just don't look good. Or not only look good and look adorable like Uncle G here in the bottom right, but they also need to put out the punches, right? They need to be consistent, find their old form. They took a map of SBT after all, which is a feat that not many teams have accomplished in the past. It's just that they need to show it to us that they haven't lost all of their aggressiveness, all of their momentum in those first weeks.
Very true. And right now that is actually a potential situation they find themselves in of people making that accusation against them. Let's see if Soa are able to once again bring out that 1-1, which will keep them in a good position. They're currently on 7 points. This would move the one up to 9 points and Soa up to 8 points, so it wouldn't change their standings in any way. And there's no way that either KT or RPG could overtake them, who will be playing later on.
At this point, when you're Soa, you're not playing in order to stay in the league, because that's almost a given, but you're playing for BlizzCon, and that should be the way bigger drive. It should be the bigger drive compared to any other one you could have. So what I like here from Soa coming in is already that they have an Uther. So even if the one were to pick the Sonya again, they would have at least one hero to kind of shut her down. Judging from what we see though, the one might as well just play this weird solo tank Tyrael style that Asian teams in Korea and China like to run every now and then, which I'm personally not a big fan of, but teams like to pick it anyway.
I know what you mean by the Tyrael. It either works really well, or falls a little flat. There's no in between. There's no. Oh, that was that was an alright Tyrael. It's, oh my god, that was the best Tyrael, or I don't think Tyrael was the correct pick here. Those are the 2 types of Tyrael we have in China.
Yeah, very true. And oftentimes I do not agree on the fact that teams are willing to take this gamble. Although if you're in the position of Soa here, excuse me, TheOne, you might argue, well, we already have that first victory under our belt. We might as well just try this out now, because all that could happen to us in the worst case is playing for a tie. But then again, that's not really a competitive attitude. If you're playing competitively, you want to make sure that you win as many games as possible without ever committing to too many risks. However, the Lunara ban coming out now, heavily limiting the ranged assassin choices here for TheOne. The Vala's out of the way, the Greymane has been stolen. If they go for another one, like let's say, like a mage, like let's say they pick Jaina, Li Ming, or Chromie, which are normally also quite contested here in China, then they could really cripple TheOne's damage output from afar.
Yeah, if we go for ranged assassins, double tank coming in for now, not going for those ranged assassins. If we go for what's left in terms of stuff, we have Cassia, for example, Tychus still available, Falstad. There's still enough options to give them a very reasonable draft. You want something with that sustained damage to set up for the Genji. You preferably, I would argue, don't want a mage. Although we have seen some absolutely spectacular Li Ming Genji combos of just double resets and going all in on that.
Keep in mind that up to this point, there are 0 interrupts for a potential mosh pit, and I was going to bring up the Li Ming here. I really like this Li Ming combo. She's going to be the only one next to a hunting Illidan that can really do
as well.
Judgment as well, but I don't think we're going to see that. But we might as a consequence, right?
Faith.
Yeah, very little faith. But yeah, Li Ming is going to have to pick that Force of Will, unless EDC decides to go completely bonkers and go for the stage dive, which could be once again a possibility. But with the Dahaka in the mix, who already is that counter soak to Illidan if he ends up going the hunt, I don't think it's going to happen. So Wave of Force against Moshpit, it's always a nice duel between those two heroes when it comes to deciding team fights.
So TheOne have set themselves up with a win hard composition. It is a comp where if they're able to get the first kill of a fight, probably going to win that fight. Resets and Illidan just causing havoc in the backline is probably going to set them up to win any fight that they start winning. If they start losing, however, then they could be in trouble, but there's always the turnaround potential.
Wow.
It's a decent draft, and it's a good reaction from Soa. Brightwing, polymorphs on Genji, polymorphs on Illidan, polymorphs on anyone is good. Spell shields for the Li Ming. The perfect response for what they're up against.
Yeah, in the previous series between, Hot Lady and BTG, we saw what a well-played Brightwing was capable of doing to an Illidan. The Emerald Wind, the polymorph right after, shutting down any metamorphosis plays, and just basically causing him to be executed within milliseconds. That is certainly an option here for Soa as well. I would have maybe loved to see a Zarya as well, to basically have a little bit more burst protection against those potential resets. I just think Zarya in general is quite good in the hands of Soa. Like, Uncle G used to be a godlike Zarya, to the point where it was actually banned out against him multiple times, just as a sign of sheer respect. But I'm not too unhappy with the Brightwing either.
Yeah, I prefer Zarya against poke damage. I actually think that she's very weak against hard engage a lot of the times, due to the fact that she really lacks mobility on her own, and has to stand still to get the most out of her auto attacks due to the insanely high attack speed. We've seen, like you said, we've seen them run it before, and their win rate against Illidan comps or other similar comps has been pretty spectacularly low, unfortunately. But like you said, that Zarya in terms of zone control and more objective-based maps, like, for example, this one, where we could have some good boss control fights, could have been pretty spectacular. But Brightwing can have a very similar effect with Emerald Wind.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, can TheOne take the series home and get 3 juicy points? We're gonna find out in a bit here. Stay tuned for Game 2. On the left-hand side, in the blue trunks, once again, TheOne, a very promising new team in HGC China, and they're represented by Hugo on his Illidan, Lucky Ontario, Meng on that Genji, Zyren on Rhaegar, and Li Ming is being played by ST.
And on the right-hand side, it is start over again with Faye on Dahaka, Uncle G on Uther, TY on Greymane, SparkBZ on the ETC, and Molly, the usual ranged assassin player, is on the Brightwing.
Kind of cool to see. I mean, Molly is kind of shifting here from his standard role. Wow, full sniper build. I like the cooldown reduction. I love it. It's actually a build that I've been using in my Hero League games for the most part. You can get some insane poke damage going through here, and combine it with a sticky flare, for example. Oh my goodness, you can have so much crowd control and so much damage.
This is so cool. Like, if you're gonna be an assassin player playing a support, why not go assassin build? And this isn't a terrible build.
No.
You can get some really decent damage out of it. This is the cooldown reduction for Brightwing, the dream shot.
Yeah.
So I am down with it. We're seeing a bit of prog rocks, so they're gonna have 3 different methods of healing onto that Greymane. Dahaka can take care of himself, so who cares? It's very much a situation of protect the Greymane as much as possible, but also we still need damage, because the fact is Uther can still go for Holy Shocks, they can still get some damage that way. I'm super down for this. That was a risky move by Hugo.
I was going to say, Hugo just maximum balls to the walls here, just not only intercepting those tower shots while the evasion was up, but also going for a risky, dangerous dance here against Dahaka, because one tongue would have been enough to cause a lot of issues for him. But that really shows the confidence that Hugo also has in his Illidan. Now he's going to get ganked by 3-4 people at the same time, though.
Unfortunately, a bit of anti-synergy polymorph and the stun from Uther being dropped at the same time. As such, Illidan was able to dash out. Bit too eager. Lack of communication between the team there.
Yeah, exactly. And just in case, very important for you guys out there as well when you play Team League or Hero League. Hold that thought, though. We see another beautiful gank on Hugo. No, what? No way.
What? Come on. Oh, what?
No way.
No, he's slow from tearing off him over the wall.
Nah, he's
W.
Yeah,
why did you mount? You were out. You were free. Oh, wait, he was at the enemy base.
Yeah. So, I mean,
he probably could have made it out.
He probably could have stalled a little bit more time if he hadn't mounted up. But then again, you might have...
If he got up, we could have got some material who could have shielded him. No,
I think he was dead anyway. But the point is also, like, at some point, do you actually want to drag it out unnecessarily? Because you also need someone to do the mercenary camp. And as such, yeah, I think it's fine. But he could have maybe bought a couple more seconds to really stall it out a little bit more. But the point I was trying to bring up earlier was that... why is Rhaegar in the bottom? Excuse me, Greymane. Why is Greymane in the bottom? Well, because he wants to go for that mercenary camp as well. So when you play a hero like, let's say, Sonya, Greymane, Illidan, anyone that could basically solo a siege giant camp, you always want to be in that lane where they're actually located at. If Greymane had gone top, well, he would have had a long distance to cover.
And the first tribute spawning on the top of the map. Brightwing currently sitting in the bot lane. Illidan rotating down. This likely lowers the chance of a potential TheOne all-in. Looks like they want to try and make poke potential here. The idea here is to try and force the Brightwing to teleport. They know that if the fact that they've committed Illidan down to this bot lane means that there's a very low chance that they actually want this tribute. So they want Brightwing to leave. You can see they're already soaking mid lane with Genji as well. This is literally just a delay tactic. You can see the reaction from Soa, though, is to also kind of ditch. You can see Dahaka already moving down to the mid lane. We're just going to see a game of bravery right now. Which team is going to blink first? They're playing chicken to see who is going to commit more people to this tribute and lose more XP.
However, we do have to highlight that the superior... Oh, never mind. Tyrael is getting shut down and annihilated. Trade value, though. Can this fight turn around?
Only hit SparkBZ. Here comes Faye from below. SparkBZ is low, but alive. And with Faye harassing the backline, and Molly's teleported in as well. Full commitment from Soa. This is going to be a tribute going over to them, but the game of chicken was won by TheOne. So it's going to be... Wow, Genji's still going. And this is huge value. As long as Genji doesn't die...
Well,
there we go. Genji died, so it doesn't matter. I was going to say, as long as he didn't die, then Illidan is just getting huge value out of this. This is going to get him so much XP. But 2 kills for, let's say, 1 lane and a couple towers. For like 1 minion wave and a couple towers. Maybe not the best value here. Either way, Soa come out ever so slightly ahead, and they have the tribute.
Exactly. They have the tribute, very important, and they're going to get some counter value in the top lane, destroying the respective towers, and sending Uther now into that bottom lane. Because if you don't care about or take care of this Illidan, he's going to tear down your fort single-handedly as well, because he can outdance most opponents who are defending. Whoa, TY needs to be careful here. Beautiful bait, though. Oh my god, that Brightwing E was so good. The spell sheet, it was not enough. Meng shot him down and goes for the resets. That was so close.
He's so low, he laughs in the face of death as Faye is being forced to retreat. Burrowed in case of the dash. Nice idea of the bait, but Genji not falling for it. Quicksilver bullets, by the way, coming in for Greymane, so he's going to be staying a little bit more ranged. Brightwing yet to pick her level 7.
So we see a full sniper build, so to speak, a full Q build for Brightwing, the increased range, going for the classic shield here on this teleport. I mean, it's a fine choice because Uther already has access to Hand of Freedom, Hand of Protection, excuse me, and I don't think 2 cleanses are really needed against, you know, only one slow really coming out from the Rhaegar, so
unless he was planning to hold all the way, Rhaegar is deleted. Yeah, unless Brightwing was planning to hold all the way until level 10 to see if Illidan picked the Hunt or if Tyrael picked Judgment, there was very little reason not to go for just either the Phase Shield or very low chance of Mystified. Seeing as he does have the cooldown reduction on his Q, he could get some decent healing numbers out. But the Phase Shield is probably the safest one, especially with that burst healing to go down onto Greymane.
Absolutely. Now, I'm excited to see that ETC heroic ability because we see the Echo Pedal. Okay, so normally when you see ETCs going for Echo Pedal at level 7, which is the AoE damage after using an ability, you're kind of expecting a stage dive, right? Because it turns him into a wave-clearing, side-soaking, split-pushing machine. But with the additional AoE damage after a good mosh pit, it is also still a nice talent to go for when you're going for that build, for that route. Now, both teams level 10. The next fight could be a very, very bloody one.
Illidan is holding. He's in bot lane. He could quick pick Hunt and come join this when he needs. Like you said, holy shock. So much poke damage from the supports of Soa as Uncle G wades forward trying to get into range. As beautiful teleport from here shut me down straight away. Yeah, Soa are going to try and take an aggressive position here to get this. Interruption from Tyrael to start, but Molly is poking Tyrael down.
Keep in mind, the immediate mosh pit, unfortunately, being an empty dance party because the cleanse was in time by Rhaegar. Isolation hitting Lu Ming, though, and she gets annihilated.
The surprise Dahaka Hunt came in, Divine Storm, Emerald Wind, Meg still alive, dropping huge damage, but getting stun locked here, trying to Dragon Blade into the background. Hugo still surviving in the also being forced to retreat. This looks like it's going to be a full escape here. Molly teleports point blank to escape.
That was a beautiful teleport. There was no other way for Molly to get out of this mess. Dehaka going for the longest tongue I've ever seen. Faye tearing things apart. Meng also taking a lot of damage from that Shocket in Uther. That was a beautiful salvage here coming from Soa. I thought Meng would clean house, to be honest. I thought Meng would get this Brightwing kill. He would then get another reset and then move on towards destroying the remainders. But that last second teleport coming in from Molly saved the day, and Soa managed to get that tribute in spectacular fashion.
That early blow up on Li Ming as well was hugely important, preventing yet another opportunity for a reset here. Boss has been started by TheOne. Aggressive moves here. Dahaka should see this. Yeah, he sees it's going on. Can they do anything about it? They have Brightwing, who does have Emerald Wind, but does she have to
Faye
very recently? Oh my god, he's going for it! He's going for it! Emerald Wind! Got it! Steal attempt! Wave of Force! ETC knockback! Soa steal the boss and pick up Illidan as the kill! They're turning around to a Divine Storm! Molly! They shred through everything! Tyrael dies! Molly may die to Tyrael! He survives the Tyrael! Soa, full team wipe, boss steal! What a play!
No holy ground available for Tyrael yet because 16 is still miles away, and they knew that Sanctification was still on cooldown, which would have been the saving grace for TheOne. But then they had this picture-perfect synergy symphony of those knockbacks, as you said, Tetcher. Look at that Brightwing Dahaka coordination. Dahaka going in, Brightwing saving the bro, and then the Emerald Wind trigger. Look at ETC as well. Bam! Knocks him back, and it was just wonderful.
The wave are forced to try and save it. ETC on point to prevent it though. Oh no, if so overextended, this could be bad. TY dropping. Voshpit interrupted. Ancestral healing. Emerald Wind disengaged. Meg's still here. He came with them thanks to the Emerald Wind. Dahaka's not here. This is literally a full retreat.
No way.
Good knockback from Spark BZ. Stun for the dash. Uncle G is in danger. They're retreating to their buildings which still have ammo. Uncle G goes down. Everyone else might go down too as they're starting to get resets. But no, Spark BZ able to push him back that fort, doing too much damage, and they sacrifice a keep for this.
They're also cursed.
For an Uther.
They're also cursed. Dahaka got the remaining tribute that was left for them to really unlock this curse. And TheOne, they need to get a team wipe here. If they didn't get the team wipe, they would not gain any value from this. But the team comp from Soa is so tanky, so slippery, so hard to catch with those constant knockbacks by ETC, the armor provided by Uther, the bribing, polymorphing, chasing targets as well. This is a disaster for TheOne right now. Soa played this past few minutes so well. They're gonna get another boss tetcher, and thanks to the previous curse and Dahaka pressure, this top keep on the side of TheOne is looking very, very damaged and very vulnerable.
Yep, that's good. That is an open keep for that boss to now siege down, and it looks like they're going with it. That is interesting.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Dahaka going to move to the mid lane to soak some XP, and he's actually going to be able to clear up this Bruiser camp while he's here, as long as Li Ming does not poke him away. As we see the rest of Soa moving up to clear this out. Siege Giants were already taken. If they can be cleared out before the boss gets here, they're going to prevent a little bit of siege damage onto the boss, which is great, forcing the response out of TheOne. Soa looking good to try and make an attempt for this keep.
Yeah, they also have the 16 talent advantage. That is a huge favor going for them here. They really need to lock someone down. Tyrael is not the easiest target to kill. Nice blink by Lucky, going for the Angelic Flash just in time. Bribing, though, in trouble. But another fight is going to break out Tetra. This is a huge one. TheOne they need to hold.
Ancestral lands on Tyrael. He can drop Sank if he has it, but he doesn't. 3 seconds were remaining when he died. Hugo in the backline does finish off Uther. Moshpit, no interrupts this time. Grabs them all, but it's still 2 for 2, 3 for 2. Genji finally picked off. They're finally getting it. The reset's not happening. He is alone. He is against 3 heroes and a boss, as we see Soa moving in for the core. Hehe needs to pull off the defense of his life, but the hit point bars are too high.
Yeah.
There's nothing he can do, as Soa will take game number 2.
The game will be theirs, and it is another 1-1 tie in this season here. We've seen many of them, but very rarely did we see a game this clearly taken back in favor of Soa. What a play. And I gotta say, Tetra, this game was 100% theirs. The amount of team fight synergy they showed, the amount of presence they established with their strong crowd control, team control, it was just a bliss to watch. And as such, I think it is safe to say that both teams deserve a point respectively. TheOne were the stronger team in the first one, and of course Soa came back in dominant fashion in the second one. I couldn't be happier with the overall result. Fantastic display.
Exactly the same here. Beautiful play in that second game by Soa. I can't really think of any mistakes they made.
No, it was
like, Soa
perfect.
played that absolutely perfectly, whereas TheOne, for example, Tyrael just going a bit too far in, even though he got dragged, etc., he still could have played a little bit further back. He had 3 seconds before Sank. That could have changed that entire last fight. They could have at least saved the core, even if they lost the keep. Instead, he just gets blown up. So